thing that you talk about. You are a true patriot and a real truth teller, and I appreciate that. My question has to do with two specific things, and they basically are, what are your thoughts on taking physical possession of gold as opposed to vaulting it? And secondly, what are your thoughts on using offshore banking or offshore accounts for whatever reason or purpose they can be used?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think you should have gold, in as many different locations as possible. I think you should have some gold offshore, like in the Perth Mint, which is what I sell. Gold held, for you in the Perth Mint in Australia, out of the country, where I think it's safe. I think you should have physical gold in your possession, with you in your house, someplace, that you've hidden it someplace. And I wouldn't put it in a safety deposit box. I'm a little bit nervous about that. I'd rather just have it in your possession somewhere. But yeah, I think you need to have gold and silver, no question about that. I mean, I think it's interesting too. I've been looking a lot in the book, the little book. I mentioned about a need to have to be armed, to have a gun, and to buy ammunition. I actually recommended buying bullets.
Oh, I totally
as
agree.
an investment, because I thought their value would go up, and now I'm reading articles about how the best investments so far in 2009 is ammunition. That prices are doubling and tripling, and you go into ammo stores and you can't even get any because it's all gone.
Absolutely.
But I think it's important that you do things in advance, because if you wait too long, you won't be able to buy a lot of the things. And what was the second part of your question?
The second part was, what are your thoughts on using offshore accounts or offshore banking?
I don't deal in that. I mean, I certainly think there is a compelling argument why you would want to have an offshore account, why you would want to have more than just your gold offshore, which I can help you with. And I said I think that makes sense to have gold offshore. But, would it make sense to have foreign bank accounts or to have trusts offshore where you own foreign assets in those accounts? Certainly. I mean, if you're fearful of the U.S. government confiscating your wealth, it's a lot more difficult for them to confiscate it if it's not here. But that's something that, I don't work with, and I don't help people do that. They just need to do that on their own. Now, I mean, certainly somebody can have an account with Euro Pacific Capital. They can have foreign stocks that I've purchased for them. And at some point in the time, if they do end up opening up a foreign offshore account, there's nothing that stops them from transferring those stocks from their domestic account to their foreign account. But, it's something that people who feel they want to go that route need to explore it on their own. The U.S. government or, the FINRA or SEC would not be very happy with me if I were to actively help people doing that. They might try to look at that as a reason to shut me down for money laundering or some violation of the Patriot Act. That's just the kind of country we live in.
Pete, time sure flies. Thanks for taking my call, and have a nice day, okay?
Hey, thanks for calling. Yep, the time does fly. We got about 2 minutes left of the show. As I said, I'll be back next week after I get back from Florida. I'm not sure. Let me see what else I've got on my scheduled appearances. I know I'm going to be doing the New York Hard Asset Conference, which is open to the public. That's May 11th and 12th in New York, so that's if you're in the New York area. Also, if you're in the New York area, I am speaking at this End the Fed rally in a park in New York on Saturday, this Saturday. So if you're living in the New York area and you want to, this is a big march and a rally about putting an end to the Fed. So I'm doing that on Saturday. Anyway, that's it. Don't forget to buy, Crash Proof and the little book. By the way, I just finished the revision of Crash Proof 2.0, and I think it's going to come out in September. I used to thought it was October, but it's coming out now in September. So Crash Proof 2.0 will be available, but before, you can still buy Crash Proof 1 and the little book of Bull Moves and Bear Markets. Make sure to call up and open up an account if you haven't already called Euro Pacific Capital to get your account set up. 800-727-7922. The foreign markets have been performing very well. I mean, they continue to perform better than the U.S. market. The dollar has not, made a substantial drop yet, but it is no longer rising, and it seems to be trending lower, and it seems to be looking toppy. Meanwhile, foreign markets, particularly the Asian economies, and a lot of the resource stocks have certainly turned around and are doing a lot better. Anyway, again, it's 800-727-7922. Thanks for listening. I will be back again next week with another live episode of Wall Street Unspun. Thank you.